Hey, good. Oh, I just saw that. Yep, I caught it. I caught it. Pretend that I am not on live right now. You did not see Thursday, May 1st. This is what you saw Friday, May 2nd. It was there and it was perfect right as I started because I don't make mistakes. Anyway, good Friday morning, everybody. Chris Allen here with your 270 weather for the 270 area code and beyond. Those of you watching in the 606, the 364, the 615, the 502, the 859, you're all welcome. We just call it 270 weather. All right. So, we've got a day in which the severe weather threat has gone up. Now, before we even get into this, I know what you're thinking. I feel like Tom Selleck when he played Magnum PI. He would do the voiceover on the show and he would say, "I know what you're thinking." He would do the eyebrows. Remember that? Anyway, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, is this going to be something where we're going to have to watch for tornadoes? Not necessarily. This is going to be, I don't see a whole lot happening with shear in the atmosphere, winds changing direction with height. I don't see that. It is an enhanced risk of severe weather today because of the potential for damaging straight line winds, winds that come down from above and then just push out on the surface, and that can down some trees, which could also down some power lines with any stronger storms that we get. And it does look like we could get a few of those this afternoon. So this is not like a tornado threat, although we can never say zero. I'll show you the risk in just a moment. This is going to be the Storm Prediction Center Weather Service is all looking at this like we're going to bump this up to a level 3 enhanced risk because there is potential for damaging straight line winds, not so much a tornado threat. Okay, so I want you to know that right away so that you don't think that because we're in a level 3 that means, oh, it's going to be really, really bad. I mean, it could be bad, but it's not going to be tornado bad. Okay. So let me start as usual. We'll go to the Plano cam, take a live view outside, and it's really nice here at 6:39 a.m. Central Time, and a blue sky with some high, thin cirrus clouds. We're going to start the day with plenty of sunshine, but it's in the afternoon that we're going to see the potential for those strong to severe thunderstorms. There's plenty of fuel in the form of moisture that's out there. The cold front is going to be just to our west. There is low level energy that's also out there. We've got a closed low pressure system that is just, it doesn't have any guidance. And it's actually that's going to give us more rain and thunderstorm activity as we get into your Saturday. And therefore, the Derby is, well, let's say it's not in jeopardy, but there's going to be a lot of rain and there's going to be a wet track. You can pretty much guarantee that. So it's just so weird because at the beginning of the week we were saying, boy, it looks good for the Derby on Saturday. Beautiful weather, cooler, less humid. Now, just the opposite. It looks rainy, damp, stormy. It's just, I know, crazy, crazy stuff. All right, let's take a look at the numbers from yesterday. And we had a high officially, it was cooler yesterday, 79. It wasn't the 88 that we had the day before. which made it the warmest day of the year and only, what, 4 degrees away from the record. We didn't have that yesterday. It was 79, just 4 degrees warmer than normal. The normal is 75. The low was 65, and we picked up just a little bit over a quarter inch of rain at the Bowling Green Airport yesterday, from those showers that were in the midday hour. And then there were some that popped up in the afternoon, but most of those yesterday afternoon and evening were along and east of Interstate 65. Let's see what we have this morning. Here's a look at the current radar as of 6:40 this morning. And we're looking at the showers moving in as we go into the next hour. You can see the showers will be, these coming out of Arkansas are headed right for us. There's some pretty good thunderstorms that are down in parts of eastern Arkansas, West Tennessee, just north of Memphis, headed toward Jackson. These thunderstorms are headed right up Interstate 40. And eventually, we're going to see more expansion of these showers and thunderstorms into the afternoon and pushing our direction toward Bowling Green and the 270. So we're going to get more of our turn this afternoon. In fact, look at the real estate that's covered. Look at all this. My goodness. And this is where we have some flooding going on. Let me turn on the bulletins and look at this. I mean, it is just widespread. All those red boxes, maroon colored boxes, those are flood warnings, flash flood warnings. Look at all that. I mean, it's just, and here's the thing, all of this is moving over the same real estate. We call it training. It's like a train going over the tracks, just over and over and over again. And because of that, we have flooding issues south of Oklahoma City this morning, and then across uh, the river into Texas. Even Dallas will get in on some of this. Tulsa, Joplin, getting thunderstorms and very heavy rain this morning. All of that moving toward Little Rock. And then eventually, all of this energy that's back here to the west has got to move east. And guess who's east of all that energy? Yeah, that would. So eventually, all of that is going to start moving our direction. We'll get a piece of energy this afternoon that will ramp up the thunderstorm chances and maybe even a severe weather risk. And then tomorrow there could be more potentially heavy rainfall that we do not need, but it's looking like we're going to get it anyway. I know. Let me go ahead and I'm going to go a little bit out of order than I usually do. I'm going to go ahead and go into the severe weather risk, because that way you can see this first and foremost and you don't have to wait on it. But here we go. And look what's changed since last night. When we looked at this map yesterday, we were painted in the yellow level 2 slight risk region. But now we've had this little bit of orange painted in. It's a level 3 enhanced risk, and I'll show you why it has gone up to a level 3. But it takes in a majority of the 270, part of the 606, part of the 859, part of the 502, and pretty much all of the 615. Yeah, all of us in that level 3 risk. West of Bowling Green, it's a level 2 to a level 1. But, this is pretty much hugging Interstate 65 and east for today, this afternoon. Here's why. Severe wind outlook, or damaging straight line wind potential. Right there. in the magenta, kind of pinkish color, strawberry color, whatever you want to call it, that is a 30 to 44% probability or risk of damaging straight line wind. All right. At least it's not gridded. At least it doesn't have the little black hash marks through it. If it had that, then we would be talking about the potential for hurricane force winds, but that is not the case. But there will be some thunderstorms that will produce damaging straight line winds this afternoon and this evening. Just note that in your brain, okay? That look out when any thunderstorms form this afternoon over your house or your place of business. Just keep that in mind. Now, this is the tornado outlook for today. Why is that? Because we don't have the kind of shearing, the veering shearing, but shearing is veering. In other words, shear is when you have one unidirectional winds at the surface and you go up several thousand feet and you can have winds coming from a different direction. So its shear is winds changing speed and direction with height as you go up. We don't have that. I mean, whatever little bit of shear is out there is not enough to really spin up a tornado, but the tornado threat is on the very low end because there's just not a lot of speed shear. There's not a lot of veering winds with height. It's just, when we look at these things called hodographs, we look for the curvature. Well, there's not much of one. It just doesn't look that impressive. So the tornado threat, not saying there can't be one, but if there does happen to be one today or two, it would just be a little brief spin up on the leading edge of the line of storms. And we're going to have a big bowing, kind of this shape, kidney bean type shape, storm line of storms coming in, like half circle kind of thing. When it bows out like that, that means that there's going to be destructive winds possible. And that's why we have the higher threat of damaging wind than we do tornadoes. There is even a hail threat, but the hail threat is also not that impressive. And it could be just there for, hey, it could happen. Somebody could get some bigger hail, but I think most of the hail is going to be smaller. But there is a 15 to 29% probability of getting some hail right there in the yellow. That is the enhanced risk area, which very much includes Bowling Green and much of the 270. So that's today. Now, there's even a severe weather threat for tomorrow, even though it's a low level one marginal risk from, again, about I 65 and to the east and central parts of Kentucky. And this is on Derby. And you see Louisville right there in it. So tomorrow, we think there could be a few strong thunderstorms, but I think most of tomorrow is going to be some thunder and lightning and heavy downpours of rain. The tornado outlook for tomorrow is, well, zero. It's not going to be much of anything. There might be some damaging wind potential along and east of 65 tomorrow. The hail threat will be gone. So if you're going to Churchill Downs, rain, thunder, lightning, some maybe wind, but hail should not be an issue. When is all this going to get out of here? Well, really Sunday. Sunday has a general, just a garden variety risk of a few thunderstorms, but it's not in any category really to it. It's like the lowest of all the thunderstorm categories. So, and then after that, it's just really quiet weather. As you can see, a lot of blank maps here. into next week. So that is your severe weather threat that we have today and tomorrow. And then we can finally be done with all of this. Here's a look at the satellite view, high resolution satellite over southern Kentucky. You can see a few puffy clouds as you go east of Glasgow and up toward Hart County in that area. Mostly sunny here, but then we have some higher and mid level clouds that are moving in from the west over the land between the lakes. And eventually we're going to have more cloudiness as we get into the afternoon with the approach of that line segment of thunderstorms that will be here that could potentially be strong. Let's go to the Kentucky Mesonet and show you some numbers. Currently, we are looking at temperatures in the 60s this morning. There you see low to mid 60s, a cooler mid to upper 50s in Cumberland County near Burkesville. Down on the Cumberland River, it's 57. But everybody else is in the 60s this morning. Let's check dew points, and I bet they're close. Yep. In fact, a lot of everyone is at 100% relative humidity because the air temperature and the dew point temperature are together, almost in some cases right there. They're the same. So therefore, you have 100% relative humidity. The atmosphere is holding all the water that it can. In other words, there's a lot of moisture out there. Winds coming out of the south at about 2 to 5 miles per hour. Any kind of gust or breezes? Not really. How about the rainfall from yesterday? Well, as I mentioned, we picked up around a quarter inch at the airport. That verifies with the two Mesonet sensors here in Warren County, the one south at the Ag Expo Center, 2600ths, and then the one at the Corvette plant, 2700ths of an inch. So everybody was pretty close on the rain yesterday. Half an inch plus, though, down in Scottsville and Allen County. And then you see 2/10, 3/10, almost a half inch over there in Metcalfe County. The better rains were yesterday to the east of Interstate 65. West of 65, there was nothing as far as rain. Okay, let's go to the maps and I'll time this out for you and show you potentially what we're looking at. So here we are this morning with some fog to the east and everything pretty quiet. There's our cold front. But the cold front is waiting on a low pressure system that's way down south. In fact, let me zoom out, show you. The potential for all of this is waiting on this series of low pressure systems that are back into Texas. That's where the severe weather is going to occur this morning, and then it's going to move east. And there's our front trying to also move east. So here we go through this morning. There's Bowling Green right there where that hand cursor is. Notice the front trying to stall once again. Here we go into the afternoon. That's when there's a better setup for showers and thunderstorms as the low pressure system draws closer. This is where the heavier rain will be to start in the afternoon, but not finish. It'll finish with an extended trough and then the stalled out front and low pressure system that'll move right through western Kentucky. That is that part of the storm where it's like a sponge that's full of water, fully saturated, 100%, and then it just starts to wring itself out. Right? It's almost like somebody's, let's say God, is standing right over us going, whoosh, here comes the rain with the sponge. Okay, that's what we've got. We're going to get some pretty good downpours, I think, this afternoon. Severe weather risk is there, even though they haven't painted in the red zone area further north. Just like I showed you, these maps haven't caught up with the enhanced risk just yet, but they will. So here comes our low, and it starts to slow down. This is right after midnight tonight, early tomorrow morning. Notice the front stalls, and the low just sits there over the land between the lakes tomorrow. Rain and thunderstorms, rain and thunderstorms, rain and thunderstorms. Churchill Downs as well, right there. I know I hate it for the Derby, but anyway, just know that from the luxury and the comfort of your home, you can watch the Kentucky Derby coverage live at only one place, WNKY NBC 40. Coverage starts at just after 1 o'clock tomorrow, goes all the way into prime time. Post time is 5:57. So here we are, early Saturday morning. Showers and thunderstorms cover the entire area. Then we get into Saturday evening. We start to see somewhat a tapering off from west to east of the activity. Then we get into Sunday morning, and now we finally start to see this system picking up some eastward progress. It's going to take its own sweet time, but it's finally going to try to move out part of Sunday, and by Monday, the rains are finally east of us. But we're not really done with the rain. We may get a break from Monday evening into Tuesday, but look what's west of us. Not again. Yes, again. And again, this is going to be another kind of blocking, stagnant, very slow moving, closed off, low pressure system. We got rid of one, and here comes another one. They, for some reason, this year, that seems to be a pattern that is a bit unusual. Usually, you get low pressure systems attached to the upper winds. Those upper winds steer those low pressure systems and those fronts from west to east, and they get out of here, they dump their rain, and then they move on. This year, this spring, I've just noticed a pattern of these individual low pressure systems that just linger and linger and linger. And that's what gave us the wettest April on record for Bowling Green and the 270. And it's trying to do it again. Let me go back to that. There we go. That's Tuesday morning. Notice the rain coming in with this next low pressure system. And Wednesday of next week, we get covered up again. And Thursday. Look at this. Look at all that. Look at all the states that are covered with rain next Thursday. And we're going to have to, unfortunately, if this keeps going the way it's going, we're going to have to talk about flood issues once again. Um, just as we're getting recovered from it, and there are, believe it or not, there are actually still a few roads that are still underwater. Isn't that crazy? It's just hard for me to comprehend. But as I just said, we just had the wettest, number one wettest April on record. Bowling Green, Southern Kentucky. All right. Here we go into the weekend. We're going to go 80 to 82 today. A little cooler tomorrow. In fact, about 10 degrees cooler or more. We're going to say around 70, upper 60s to around 70. Little cooler at night, the next few nights, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We see 60s. Those are going to be your coolest days, Sunday and Monday. Cool days. with some showers. By Monday evening and the Tuesday, we get a break, but starting Wednesday, more rain coming. And temperatures should be where they're supposed to be for this time of the year, which is mid 70s. 75 is our normal high temperature for this time of the year, these first few days. But then the normal goes 76 and then to 77, which we do see next Sunday. Not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday, May 11th. So temperatures will be right where they need to be, but rainfall is going to be over over the top. And I hesitate on that because I just don't want I don't want to have to be the bearer of bad news, but it's kind of too late for that. I have already personally ruined the Derby. I want you to know that. Somebody out there's like, "Oh man, I had so many plans for the Derby. I had my fascinator and my mint julep and I had all that ready to go. And now you're telling me it's going to rain and they won't let me take an umbrella to Churchill Downs. By the way, you need to know that if you're going to the Churchill Downs tomorrow, they will not allow an umbrella. You just got to cover up with something over your fancy clothes and your fascinator and your hats, and they will not allow umbrellas for safety reasons. So if it rains tomorrow and you're at Churchill Downs, you're just going to have to, just you're just going to have to cover up with something. Okay, here's a look at the forecast as I put forth last night at WNKY.com on the News 40 weather app and on TV. 80 today, 80% chance of rain, thunderstorms this afternoon, some of which could contain damaging wind. Tomorrow, 10 degrees cooler or more and rainy and stormy, even at Derby. Then Sunday, we cool off even more, 65 with a few showers left over. Monday, we get a break. Tuesday, we get a break. But then Wednesday and Thursday of next week, more thunderstorms, more rain, and even heavy rain potential. It just does not want to stop. Rita says, do you think South Central Kentucky will be under severe thunderstorm watch this afternoon? Very possible. I would say since we are looking at a level 3 enhanced risk for severe weather this afternoon, I would say it's most likely going to be a severe thunderstorm watch and not a tornado watch, because the tornado threat really is quite low for today, which is good. That doesn't mean there won't be a tornado, but if there is one, it'll be one of these little short-lived spin ups right at the leading edge of that bowing segment. You'll see a big long line of storms kind of bowing out. That just means a lot of straight line wind, but there could be a little spin up there, but hopefully not. All right, you guys, have a great Friday. I'll see you tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on News 40. Timing of storms. Okay, this is Allison. The storms will begin sometime, I think, after 3 o'clock this afternoon. Yeah. So into this evening. By the way, tonight is Morgan Hoover's last broadcast with us. That'll happen at 6 o'clock. So she'll be on the 5, she'll be on the 6, and then she's gone. She is starting a new venture with her husband. They're moving back to southern Tennessee, where they're from, and they have an exciting new venture that is really going to be something. And I'm so happy for them and proud of them. I hate to lose Morgan. She has just been a sweetheart. She's been a true professional, Uh, and when I first came back to television, 2 years, it's been 2 years almost now. I thought, wow, I get to work with Morgan Hoover, who I watched somewhat before I started at 40. And I thought, wow, she's very good. She's very good. She's going to get snatched up. She's going to go somewhere else. We're not going to get to keep her, but she wanted, her intent was to stay for a good while because she's got two little girls and her husband, and they were going to, just raise their family here in Bowling Green and, just settle in. But an opportunity came along that involved her family, and her family lives in Southern Tennessee. And so things worked out, and now she's going to be a boss. She tried to boss me around a little, but it didn't work. As many of my TV wives have tried through the years, through the decades of trying to boss me around, they all eventually leave because they just can't take it. The only the only wife that has endured is my wife, Sheila. And by the way, our anniversary, our 42nd, yeah, I think it's 42nd wedding anniversary is next week. So I've run off another TV wife. I think number 15, Morgan is, but we wish her all the best. And now we'll just have to figure something else out. All right. Have a great day, a great weekend.